Good morning, everybody. My name's Kate Hancock-Cooke, and I am a serial volunteerer. I say yes to way, way, way too much. I have a stop me before I volunteer again refrigerator magnet. I didn't buy it. And, I even said yes to this. And I've just been elected to a public office, which I found is really just volunteering with signs. Thanks. I have learned that volunteering can be sometimes you feel like it's a burden, but also sometimes it gives us opportunities to learn and grow in ways that we would not have dreamed possible. My biggest commitment at this point has been an environmental group called Citizens Climate Lobby. We have many members here in the fellowship and in the Fox Valley. And through Citizens Climate Lobby, I've gotten to travel to Washington, D.C. and meet with our congressmen and our senators. I'm on a first-name basis with Glenn. I live in District 6. And 1,300 of my best new friends lobby Congress. I've done that a couple times. We all lobby in one day. It's quite a thing. And I happened to meet the son of Dave Debink, whose first name I forget, but on the Capitol steps, in this huge picture, there's a kid whose name says Debink, and I'm like, there can't be that many Debinks in the world. I taught you in Sunday school. So that's our CCL motto. One of them is, be willing to do something outside your comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens. That feels really uncomfortable. But I'm here to talk to you about the magic of volunteering. I've been coming to the Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship since early in 1985, when I was just settling into my Wisconsin life, but it was inevitable that I would find and join you. My family has been Unitarian since the 1870s. Both parents were board chairs and long-term board members, ditto Granny Phillips, ditto great-Granny Scaife, and my great-great-grandfather, W.H. Savage, was a Unitarian minister. He served in Missouri, Illinois, and Massachusetts. He sent his brother, my great-great-uncle, Minot Savage, to Harvard Divinity School so he could become a minister as well. And Minot is much better known for his extensive writings. Hymn number 77 and 293 are in our gray hymnal. I digress, but this is just to tell you I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to volunteer. It's what we do. Now, I know all you good people devote your time to many good works, and we probably share the knowledge that there is volunteering that we do from a sense of duty, honorably supporting causes that we know are valuable, and they need our help to get the work done. And then there's the volunteering we really, truly love to do. Now, we have both at the Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowships. Tablecloths do not wash themselves. But I love to teach and assist in RE. K2, that's the current grade we have now, is my jam. I've taught for 30 years or so, since Henry, who is now 35, was in preschool. And there are so many great kids who are fascinating and fun and filled with quirky interests and information. Currently, I have a dinosaur maven. She wears dinosaur dresses. We talk about dinosaurs every time we meet. And a budding biologist who taught me that whales were originally terrestrial. I'm a biology major, I didn't know that. Love the stuff I get to learn. And these children grow up and produce in me a teary joy when I see them again as young and sadly now older adults, still just as fabulous as adults as they were as kids. And that's my magic. That's the reason I volunteer here, and I love it. And I'm grateful to do it, and I've got to go because my kids are waiting.
Good morning. What a beautiful celebration today, yes? I'm Dana Johnson, and I'm currently in the role as your president of the board, but we have an amazing group of people that are helping elevate the mission and vision that you all are a part of, so it is good to be together with you today. And when I think about the commitments I've made to organizations that I belong to, whether in my professional or personal life, I've been called upon to provide leadership, unbeknownst to what that spark might be that someone has saw in me, and often after taking a vested interest, perhaps engaging in a community or an effort to move something uniquely forward. The leadership experiences have elevated my life in building a sense of community in each and every role and with those who are recipients of that leadership. I actually prefer to think of myself more as a coach. I bring a calming presence, hopefully in crisis, and progressive in daring to make waves or ripples of change when others wish to leave the pebbles by the shore without disturbing the surface. When I began my connection work here on the care team, I learned quickly that the spirit of life uniquely binds us in joys, in concerns, hope, healing, grief, recovery, happiness, connection, and birth. It builds a community where each person belongs. Each leadership or lay-led moment here at the fellowship has deepened my connection to humankind, to each of you. My life spark that keeps my heart beating is interwoven with each of you. And if we haven't connected, it's waiting to be, and I can feel that energy pulling me to you. This spirit and the UU values and faith easily intertwine to create humanity in this earthly presence and to the energy that I believe will once leave my body and transfer back to Mother Earth and the cosmos. It's within this that I hold my leadership here at the fellowship as constantly flowing with spiritual spark. In my mind, they're one and the same and really can't be alone. Maybe you feel that too, but haven't necessarily connected it to being a leader. Maybe now's your time.
Thank you, Dana, and thank you, Kate, who is now, I think, probably, supervising my own child. I'm sure hearing all about the travails of being 5. One of you, who I cannot remember because I don't have it written down, shared with our Leadership Development Committee a section of the sort of book-length poem by Khalil Gibran, the Prophet, called On Giving. And I wanted to share these 3 sentences from it. He writes, "You often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish." Some of you might feel like the phrase "to withhold is to perish" feels a little intense for your sense of religious community. And in fact, you don't even really like the word religious community or organized religion. You can barely tolerate disorganized religion, let alone organized religion. And as I told the 9 o'clock, if you ever need to experience some disorganized religion, you can always visit my office at any time. And it's funny, the word religion, I've talked about this before, the word religion at the piece at the center where it says the lig bit, the L-I-G, that's the same root as the word ligament or obligation. It's just a root that means to be bound together. So religious community is not the same thing as dogmatic community or creedal community, because we're neither of those here at the fellowship, but we are a religious community in the sense that we say we are bound together and we have obligations to one another in the service of our community. And the truth is that to withhold is to perish, because as human beings, we are relational creatures. Right? Part of our evolution has been not just the great advances of, like walking upright, though that is very important, but that we make community And that part of how our species has survived and thrived and become the array that it is that we make community together. That's part of how we survive, how we advance. And so when I think about this reality that we are bound together and that we have obligations to one another and to this community, I think about a phrase that I occasionally hear from people who are having a hard time feeling connected, which is that they'll sometimes say, like something just like isn't doing it for them anymore here at the fellowship. And that's pretty normal to feel that from time to time. So I do not have quite the level of Unitarian ancestry that Kate does, but my grandparents were the converters to Unitarian Universalism. They joined the Unitarian Society in New Brunswick, New Jersey in the 60s. And so I have been Unitarian Universalist my whole life. And I can assure you that what is happening on a Sunday morning up front has not always done it for me. Recently, my mother was cleaning out a box in her house and she found an old order of service from some, Sunday service when I was in high school. And you can just see the series of increasingly hungry notes that I'm writing to her. And at some point she says "Are you even listening?" No. Right? Things will not always do it for you. That's not the point of religious community. And it's normal. And in fact, if you're going to do it for the long haul, if you're really in it for the long haul, you will go through perhaps several iterations of things not doing it for you in the same way. If it's doing it for you right now, you can ignore this part. Save it somewhere deep in the recesses of your mind for when you become dissatisfied. And sometimes my response to people is that in those seasons in my life where it wasn't doing it for me, I volunteered in RE. And that was how I was connected to the church as a layperson. That was my primary connection to multiple congregations. To the point that someone was once, because I was a young adult especially, someone once welcomed me to the church for the first time. They were like, "Wow, you must be new here." I said, "Actually, I've been here for 3 years. They just lock me in the RE wing. They don't let me out. They just make me teach coming of age." There are so many different ways to be bound to a community, to be religious, and that it is possible that not every season of your life will be one where you sit and receive. And as Kate spoke, right, one of the great secrets is that in those moments where you are giving, you are receiving. I have felt so ministered to by the children and youth who I taught. And indeed, some of you are like, "You're so young." Somebody I taught coming of age to is multiple years into their career as a Unitarian Universalist minister. When that happened with Sky, I was like, "No, you're making me feel old." The obligations we have to each other are not a burden. They're not here to make you feel guilty or bad. They're here to invite you not to withhold at your own peril, to be present with one another, and that being part of something for this long, over this many years, it takes different iterations and different reinventions. And so if ever something is not doing it for you, I invite you to go chase a toddler for a year. Don't listen to us. once a month. Take a sabbatical from listening. Take an opportunity to be present with those who need you, with those to whom you are bound here. And if you are moved, we are having in the Brown Room after service this morning, in a celebration of this Sunday where we celebrate our obligations to one another, our joyful, wonderful, beautiful, life-giving obligations to one another. And those who have chosen to obligate themselves with us as members over the last year is that there is a pop-up membership ceremony. So if you are a person who has been on the fence about whether or not you should sign your name to our membership book or become an official part of our community in name and database and voting rights, that Reverend Christina will be in the Brown Room, which is down the religious exploration hallway. It's the room with the couches. After service today, if you would like to go and sign the book and join. Or if you just want to learn more about it, you can go visit her there. With all the gratitude in my heart for all the ways you have obligated yourselves to each other and to this place, thank you. Thank you.